Well, hello and welcome to this week's edition of your Wheel and Anchor weekly newsletter. Well, as you can probably tell by my attire, I've made it back to Canada. And what a trip it's been. I went from last week being in Malta at this time at a balmy 20 degrees, and the temperature drop has been about 30 degrees where I am here now in the Gatineau in just north of Ottawa in Quebec. So it's good to be home. I admit I'm just getting used to the cold, and it certainly is cold. Nevertheless, just wanted to touch on a couple of topics for this week as we move toward the holiday season and, of course, all the news that's out there in the world. A number of people asked me how my trip into Canada was. I must say it went remarkably smoothly. I flew from Paris to Montreal on Air Canada. The flight was absolutely full. There was not a free seat on board, but I must say the airline handled it very well. Of all the airlines I flew on in the last few months, I must say Air Canada is managing the situation quite well. So you don't always hear me compliment Air Canada, but I must say I was pretty pleased. And similarly, the arrival in Montreal went quite smoothly. And the ArriveCan situation and the checking and the lineup, it all went pretty well. So I'm pretty impressed, and I think that's important because I know there were some concerns earlier in the year about the complications associated with coming back to Canada. So at the moment, that looks pretty good. Of course, let's see what's going to happen because, of course, the rules have changed yet again in light of this Omicron variant. And, of course, that's obviously the topic of the news, of the headlines now. So a number of people have asked me for my perspective on the Omicron variant and what it means for travel in the coming months. And, of course, as you can well imagine, I don't have a crystal ball. It's impossible for us to predict the impact that this is going to have on travel, other than the fact that countries are obviously responding quite quickly. Travel bans, new testing requirements, broader vaccination mandates, as they should be. But what that will mean in February when we go to Madeira, or March when we go to Cyprus, nobody really knows. But for the time being, we're planning to move ahead. I think that we're going to continue to see ups and downs with COVID. That's inevitable. That's going to happen, let's face it, all of next year and probably beyond. This is something that's with us to stay, and I think we just have to live with it and manage it in the best way we can. We know that mitigation measures work. We know that vaccination works. And so, as I say, it's business as usual for us. And of course, if a situation arises that forces our hand, we will deal with it at that time. But let's stay optimistic. Let's look forward to traveling. And as I say, when what you read in the news, take everything with a grain of salt. It's important to stay informed, but it's also important to keep perspective in the broader context of what's going on. So I think that's really important. Stay tuned for us on the 16th of December. So in just under 2 weeks, we're going to have our 2022 first half travel outlook webinar. We're going to take a look at what's happening around the world. So we're going to obviously reflect on the pandemic, how that's impacting travel, what countries around the world are doing, how the reopening is impacting travel, because I know it's been challenging in a lot of places due to changes in labor and all kinds of different issues that travel has been facing. And we're going to take a look as well as the trips that we're going, where there's some spaces left in case you still want to sign up for this winter or this spring. And all that's happening on Thursday, December the 16th at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. My fingers are freezing to the bone now, so I'm going back inside in front of my desk and near the fire. And I look forward to catching up with you again next week.